What up, y'all? It's your boy, the Hood Nerd, back again with another video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share it. This one coming out of Harlem. And again, we got to have a question: nature versus nurture. We also have to ask the question again: when will we stop talking about systematic racism and police brutality? Black folks' biggest problem, the root of it, starts at home. It's always been the parenting. And again, 80 to 90% of police brutality situations and the shootings we have, they come from cops being in communities and cultures where they're not familiar with. And you in communities that's on high alert crime wise. And we talking violent crimes. So now I put a rookie cop in one of the most dangerous parts of New York City, dangerous parts of LA, dangerous parts of Chicago, and that's not where he's from. And bodies dropping left and right. Of course he or she, of course, they will have an itchy trigger finger. But again, we'll go through this story. And like I said, I'm going to do a better job of just bringing these to you on a day-to-day basis. A lot of the time, I'm not as consistent as I want to be because I'm doing these deep dives on my podcast. And those episodes end up being an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And when I'm doing an hour and a half, 2 hour long episode by myself, that's probably 2 to 3 days worth of research. And when I get home from work, I'm fact checking and doing this and doing that. But this one comes out of Harlem. 13 members of the violent Chico Gang in East Harlem are indicted following an early morning takedown on Wednesday morning, where 5 people were arrested. The gang members have been charged with conspiracy, attempted murder, attempted assault, and weapons possession. 3 of the members have been arraigned in court, as 9 other members have been indicted and are in custody. Prosecutors discovered that the gang members organized crime briefs via text and social media. In 2019, another 12 members of the Chico Gang were also indicted on charges of conspiracy, attempted murder, attempted assault, and weapons possession. In New York, there's been a 10.7% increase in shooting and incidents between 2020 and 2021. And again, everybody now is looking for the new excuse. And what's the new excuse in the Black community? Oh, our children only behaving like this now because of the pandemic. They bored. But again, you raising him. What does that say about you? Then they'll go, well, they don't have a male role model. Again, who laid down with the man who was supposed to be his father? There has to be some accountability at some point. And hopefully, if I keep shining the light and the mirrors on this, we'll get enough traction where we can start to force Black women to be accountable for what you have let loose out on society. You are using your children to basically terrorize the community. 5 members of the notorious NYC gang said to be behind the shootings of 12 people were busted during the dawn raid. JC Mitchell, 20, his brother Jameek, 19, and Melvin, 20, were all arrested at their homes in Harlem at dawn Wednesday over their alleged membership of the Chico Gang. It is named after 16-year-old Jawan Chico Tavares, who was shot dead in March 2016. I wonder if they named it after him or was he the creator of it. But that's neither here nor there. 9 other members of the same gang were previously indicted and faced charges including attempted murder, attempted assault, and weapons possession. The Chico Gang is accused of carrying out 12 shootings to avenge Tavares' death, which include 4 innocent bystanders, one of them being a 12-year-old boy. And again, they have no value for life, but you have to ask the age-old question: nature versus nurture. Since we know it's not nature, What type of environment were they nurtured in to now be cultivated into this? That's all we really have to keep asking. What type of environment were they raised in? Well, this is the end product of it. Because again, cultures, the first teacher of most children, majority of children will be his women, his mother. That's probably the first teacher of a child is his mother, who's cultivated and nurtured this environment, who created the environment that they what is the environment they're being forced to grow up in? Because they don't come out like this. The NYPD's violent crime squad strapped on their bulletproof vests, gearing up for the gang takedown. So again, this is the next conversation we have. They have to go into these environments like this. Now, are you going to get the random situations, few and far between, where you got a cop who's a bigoted asshole and he has just little man syndrome, and because somebody is disrespecting him, he wants to shoot him or she wants to shoot him? Sure. But those situations are minute. Those are probably in the 2 to 5 percentile of those shootings that happen in Black culture. Now, I can't speak for white culture or Hispanic culture, but in Black culture, it's usually somebody coming in a high stress situation already. And then they'll say, well, you didn't have to shoot. You could have tased it or you could have did this. Well, the root of it all is you could just comply. When they pull you over, hey, yes, sir, no, sir. Let me get my ticket. I'm gone. You don't hold court in the street. You hold court in the courtroom. They pull you over. They want to arrest you because you got drugs on you. Okay. If you got something minute on you, okay, I'll bond out in the morning or in a few hours. And that's it. But a lot of these things happen because people are running around with guns and running left, running right, running here, running there. They want to take the situation from level 1 to level 10. They want to reach for guns, reach for tasers and all of this. And of course, you're going to get shootings after that. Because you tell somebody, hey, put your hands up, and they keep fidgeting, I will shoot. Because people, again, when they watch things in slow motion or they hear about it, they see it in terms of TV. TV going to break it down where it's 1, 2, 3, just like that. When in fact, it's just like, it's just a snap of a finger, how quick a bullet exits the gun and gets to its target. You don't really have that type of time when people are just like, well, hey, you could have did it this way. If I'm fearing for my life, I'm shooting and I ask questions later. My job is to get back home to my family, not make sure you get back home to yours. The arrest of these gang members was specifically targeted to remove the drivers of this gang violence from our streets. The 9 members involved have been indicted and are in custody, with the other 3 being arraigned in court. One member, Isaac Rivera, has been charged but is yet to be taken into custody. That's interesting. The gang's headquarters was located in Wagner houses in Harlem, where the takedown occurred. And again, in an apartment complex. Why are we, as our culture, why are we harboring these young Black males at this point? If you want to save your little children who you swear you love so much, if you want to save them, you would think, hey, yo, this is going on over here. This is going on over here. You might want to keep an eye out over here in this building. If you're not, then stop getting out here crying every day saying this don't make any sense. Because you harboring a lot of these people. Then when the police come and knock on the door, hey, did you see this? Did you know this? We won't talk to cops. Because if it was up to me, I'm in charge of the police unions in Chicago, any of these major cities where all this crime is at, I'm telling them stand down. Don't even go in there until after the violence happened. And tell the community wants to take this serious. Since they don't want to take it serious, we're not going to take it serious. They don't want to make this a priority. We're not going to make this a priority. If they want to let this culture and this behavior continue to happen in their communities, let it happen. And we can go protect other communities where they don't behave like this. The violence that occurred was believed to be mostly directed at a rival gang in nearby Jefferson homes. According to CBS News, a firearm, two 30-round magazines, a bag of synthetic marijuana, and a bag, well, should it be a bag of synthetic marijuana? They wrote bag, and a bag of heroin were found at the scene. This investigation was reportedly being built since January 2020. So now you have to ask yourself, that's a year and a half of bodies dropping where they just was sitting and watching. You had to think they probably could have prevented some of these crimes from happening, but I guess you want to make sure your case is strong enough to put these guys away at this point. The gang used text and online apps to plan crimes, according to prosecutors. They comb through a lot of social media. When people get arrested, we take their cell phones, do search warrants on their cell phone. We're able to see what's going on with their phone connectivity. I hope they wasn't silly enough to be doing stuff on the phone. Because once stuff go in the cloud, it's in there. I don't care if you try and erase it or not. That's it. One instance involved gang member Melvin Williams posted a Snapchat video of him holding a gun to another person's head and back in July, according to the New York Post. And again, you posted a Snapchat video and nobody reported that to the authorities back in July. We're getting ready to hit September. The other indicted members include Jabari Albright, Devin Branton, Sahai Butler, Jason Crockett, Jayden Golden, Cameron Hudson, Joseph Lee, Jamel Williams, Mikhail Pettiford, and Isaac Rivera. This is not the first time the Chico Gang has been in trouble. In 2019, another 12 members of the gang were indicted on charges of conspiracy to commit murder, assault, and weapons possession after they were found responsible for a total of 17 shootings. And again, nobody is speaking up. Bodies dropping all over the place, and nobody is saying anything. Yet we keep screaming systematic racism, police brutality. That's what's holding Black people back. No, our communities are our communities because we've done a shitty job as parents raising our children. Well, I won't say we, because I ain't got nothing to do with this, but as a culture, we've done a shitty job as parents raising our children. To that end, our work identifying and dismantling gangs and crews and preventing the violence so often associated with their activities continues to be of paramount importance to the NYPD and all our law enforcement partners. Now, again, the community could be helping the cops out so that these cops could be in other places preventing real crime. Well, not real crimes because people dying here. But they could be preventing other crimes. But you're using manpower and a whole lot of hours trying to figure out all of this, trying to get a bead on movements, where they lay at, where do they lay at, where do they go at this time, where do they go at that time, when the community could be the eyes and ears and everybody could be winning. Your children could be right back outside playing, enjoying their childhood and all of that. But unfortunately, that can't happen anymore because nobody wants to speak out about what's going on in the Black community. Nobody wants to talk about Gizmo's creation. They don't want to talk about the gremlins and the little mugwise that Gizmo has let out. At some point, we'll get serious about having this conversation. At some point, we'll go sit back and say, yo, since the 60s, she's wanted it to be this way. And I always tell you guys, have no problem saying Black women are the leaders of the Black community. And we have to say that because 77% of the parents are single mothers. So they are the ones who are leading. They are the ones who are cultivating. They're the ones who are raising the next generation. So they are the leaders of it. Whether that's the way we want it to be or not, the numbers dictate that's what it is. So now, since they're leading, somebody now has to hold the leader accountable. See, whenever something goes wrong, a team is playing bad, it's not the players who go, coach get fired. Because that's the way it goes. The leader has to be held responsible for what's going on his watch. When people are not working correctly at work, usually the manager who gets his head or her head chewed out first. Because this is who's leading all of this. To that end, our work identifying and dismantling gangs and crews and preventing the violence so often associated with their activities continues to be of paramount importance to the NYPD. When asked about youth being involved in gangs, McGee responded to CBS News, "The answer is I don't know. Think if a kid had an outlet to go get a job and have a good education and a good family structure, I think that would help a lot. It's unfortunate." And again, they understand what it is, but because we live in this liberal society, nobody is going to hold her feet to the fire for what's going on at this point. Not in our culture. I told you, it's God. Most of our culture are Christians, so they have it God. They have God, Jesus is the Holy Trinity, and then a notch, maybe a couple inches below them two, is the Black Mother. And right below the Black Mother, a couple inches below the Black Mother, will be the Black pastor. That's how our culture rolls. Do I think this is going to end a 13-year-old from becoming a gang member? I can't say that. And I don't think that'll happen. Of course, you know it's not going to stop him from becoming a gang member. There's no structure at home for him. All of this starts at home. It's the most simplest answer we have to all of this. All of this is a really quick fix. But in order for us to fix it, we have to go analyze and point the finger at who? Who's raising it? And we don't want to have that conversation. Shootings in New York have increased 10.7% in the last year, as 983 shootings occurred in 2021 as compared to 888 shootings in 2020. It's according to the NYPD. So, again, 13 members of the Chico Gang indicted. Again, it's this nature versus nurture. Again, how long will we continue to blame police brutality and systematic racism over why our children are behaving this way? At what point do us as a culture and as Americans turn and finally point the finger at who this actually should be pointed at? This is your boy, the Hood Nerd. I'm out. I'll get at y'all later. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button.